All right, hello, welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging. We are back to playing Symbaroum tonight, continuing our run through Wrath of the Warden. And unfortunately, we're down an Aaron. Might show up, might not, but we're gonna push on and see if I remember how to GM, because it's been like a week and a half, and that's just weird. Like when you GM like 4 out of the 7 days of a week, and you just don't do it for like a week and a half, it's like, I don't even know who you people are. Like when Long popped into Zoom, I'm like, who is this guy? Who's this guy? Where did I drop this?
The right meeting. Like, what am I doing here?
He had a good streamcation.
It was pretty intense. And then when I was running the stream for Stephen, I screwed up so much stuff. Like I just screwed up. So it worked out fine in the end. But like just like click this thing wrong and I click that thing wrong. It's just everything. Just if it's not actively in my brain, it's out of my brain. Like it's just not there. So, but yeah, I think we're ready to go. We good? We good? We're just gonna jump in. We're gonna start doing it in a new way. We're no more of these character intros. We know who they are, and no one really likes them. So let's just. I meant the intro.
Wow.
I didn't mean the characters. See, this is what I mean. I haven't GM for a week and a half. This is what happens. I forget tact.
So we're replacing
and
you
etiquette
next week.
What? Are you serious? Someone else? Oh God! Thank God. Oh goodness.
No one else has the skills.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Well, let's get going. So last time around, we took last week off. We played the week before. Last time around, you all had recently come up out of the sinkhole where you had been sort of exploring the caves beneath Thistlehold, seeing whatever danger was still there. You were hired by Ordo Magica to do so. And last time around, you had returned. You split off to finally get some rest and recuperate. Jinzo went home. We met his father, who thought you were dead. I was very excited that you were not, and then quickly transitioned to how could we leverage this for a better Abomatorium gig, and and that was that. Elsewhere, I think Gwydion, you said you wanted to feel the open air because you were sick and tired of being in the caves, and so you went outside of the city and you spent the night over by the witches' camp with Gadgermon and Ephronea. You talked about possibly getting some training from them. You also got a little bit of a history lesson on Clan Jazora, who you all have learned is more than likely the Beast Clan that you all have been seeing and fighting and exploring is likely the remnants of Clan Jazora. Atolia, you headed back to Blackmoor, but before leaving Thistlehold, you caught yourself being stalked by somebody on the rooftops. You did manage to elude them. You use your magic to kind of become undiscoverable, and you got home safely. Rowena, you stayed in your room in the Tower of Ordo Magica. No issues whatsoever. In the morning, we met Atolia's mother, who's delightful. And we also visited the sparring rooms of the Abomatorium, where a pair of fighters got to learn about the lizard men and or the man-sized lizards that Jinzo fought in the caves beneath whatever. So that was kind of fun. Let's see. Everyone but Madjac eventually met in the Witch and the Familiar. And that's where Gwydion, he received a note from Dismas, and he wasn't sure if you could read. And then Atolia and Gwydion, you headed off to figure out what was going on there, because he apparently found some people that had similar interests and could help with whatever the hell it is that you all are doing with your investigations into this cult and all that kind of stuff. Then Jinzo and Rowena, you all paid a visit to the Sun Church because you were hoping to follow up on some of the stuff that you had discovered on Anadea's corpse. As you found the Novus dead on that huge pile of trash at the base of the sinkhole. When you went to the temple, you kind of met some folks. Everyone was kind of in mourning. It's very, very crowded. There's a big old, if you're unfamiliar, there's a big old travesty that happened in the town, and so people are kind of freaking out, praying, etc. And eventually, you got a meeting with Father Alfino, and that's where your thread sort of stopped for the session. Meanwhile, at Dismas's hiding place, Gwydion and Atolia, you discovered that his new friends were shockingly not his friends, but in fact, were setting up a trap. Who would have thought, right? And they attacked Gwydion, but both Atolia and Gwydion, you did manage to prove too much for them. But still, one of the ruffians that you were fighting escaped. Another, at one point in the fight, held a spear blade to Dismas's neck, trying to secure their own life, trying to get Gwydion to drop his weapons. Gwydion refused. So he plunged that spearhead right into his throat, just sort of ripping and tearing throat, blood everywhere. It was like the scene, like the end of Carrie. It was just insane, just blood everywhere. I don't know how he's still alive. And that was basically it for you guys as well. So we are going to not start there because that would be too easy. Instead, we are going to start over at the Sun Temple. As we are with Jinzo, we are with Rowena. To remind you, you were taken back into the temple itself, and you are kind of far removed from the public spaces, which are extraordinarily crowded. And the further and further you got taken into the back of the temple, it became less and less populated. You passed by a number of things along the way, tapestries devoted to like Queen Corinthia and such. You saw a massive stone gate with tons and tons of locks on it. And eventually you were led to this small windowless chamber. There's no furnishings whatsoever. And there, a kneeling Father Elfino got up. He turned around and he walks towards you. He is a younger-ish man for his station, at least. So he's probably in his 30s or so. And he stares at the two of you with these really cold, serious eyes. Jinzo, I need you to roll a discreet test, as he is eyeing you down significantly.
Please roll well, Log.
Discreet, huh? All right.
Remember when you were making your character and I'm like, hey, you might want to bump this thing over and increase your discreet. And you're like, nah, it'll be fine.
Yeah,
fine.
My 15 failed.
Okay.
Oh.
So, Jinzo, can you remind everybody, or at least describe, where your mark is? You have a specific mark on your person that some people confuse for things. So where is it? What does it look like?
Got a nice little scar right underneath my right eye on my nose. It cuts across to my cheek towards the ear. And I got it a couple years back when a tragic event happened, and it could be mistaken for a nice little nasty blight.
Okay. So, as Father Elfino approaches the two of you, the theurg who had been leading you through the hall steps away. You hear the heavy thud of the door behind you, these thick wooden doors. And he looks directly in your eyes, Jinzo, and at your scar. You have the look of one who has suffered much. Have you come to be cleansed? Have you come for treatment?
No, we only seek the guidance of Prios.
You seek his guidance, but you will not accept his mercy? And he kind of like holds a hand up, and ever so it almost seems like his hand almost glows ever so briefly, but like maybe a trick of the very limited light in the room. And he peers at you. You have a foul smell. Where have you come from? And he takes like this long. You see for a moment his eyes, like the pupils in his eyes start to dilate a little bit, as if he's really starting to take you in now.
We've been in the depths of a chasm for half a day. Only recently rose.
He turns to Rowena. You bear the robes of a Ordo Magica. Is this...
Yes, I am.
Is this fool telling the truth?
Yes, absolutely. He was very unfortunate to find himself down in the sinkhole, and thankfully we came across him when we were, and she'll kind of go into the whole, why they were down there, who they were kind of directed by, and
he holds his hand up as you start to ramble. He doesn't even let you get into a second sentence. And is it here where he has taken the stigma upon his face?
And Rowena genuinely doesn't know the answer to that question. So she just sort of gets that kind of deer in headlights look on her face. As I mentioned, that is how we came upon him, was in the course of this, and it was not so long ago. But I can vouch for his bravery and commitment to why we are here to speak with you.
I would be remiss, negligent of my beliefs and duty if I did not see to this one's suffering. We have places here for people who have suffered as you have. It is not your fault. Understand that. But I cannot let you leave until I know that you will not proliferate such taint to the people of Thistlehold.
I'll touch the scar. It's an older one. There's no way this is tainted.
Tell me, if it is older, how did you receive it? Then I shall make my judgment.
6 years ago. You know the event, the abomination that grew. My mother was slain. Must have gotten in the accident. The commotion. I was young.
He puts his hand like on your shoulder and kind of starts to cup the side of your neck underneath the side of the head where you have the scar. You see his eyes kind of close and he mutters something almost imperceptible. You're like right next to him, but it's so quiet. Jinzo, roll a persuasive. I'm going to give you a +2 as you told a decent story, but you didn't really, jazz it up that much.
Worst roll here out of 5.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, Log.
I will, before you rip it, Rowena, if there's anything you would like to do to assist in this conversation, you are welcome to try to do so.
Aaron, we miss your silver tongue character.
It would happen to, that's the funny thing, it would actually happen to Aaron too. He's got the wolf eyes, remember?
True,
Yeah.
but he also has the best.
Oh yeah, he's way better persuasive. He's equipped to handle the questioning.
What I'm struggling to think about is like I don't know Jinzo very well, so coming up with some type of like all I can do.
Well, you know
is
blights
speak.
and stuff, right? You can speak on that.
Sure. Yeah. You're very well educated. You know about this. You know about these types of things. And plus, you've seen him at work, right? You've seen what he's done. You've seen him slay creatures. You've seen him turn away from like the seductions of Biella. Not that any of you really want to mention what went down
Yeah.
to anyone.
Yeah. So I think, yeah. So I would build off of what he mentioned that, and I'm actually not, I have Medicus also. So I think while he's looking at this, I would kind of also look at it and just sort of confirm that does in fact look like a scar that has been there for quite some time. And his behavior does not seem to in any way reflect someone who is kind of giving in to those urges. And I could try to roll a persuasive.
No, you're not going to roll it. Jinzo's still got to roll it. But I'll say so we'll give him a slight boost to it again. So we'll say I'll give you +3 this time as opposed to +2.
I like those odds.
You like any odds.
I failed a good one.
Okay. And you see he just looks at Rowena and he looks at you, Jinzo.
I'm afraid I must insist.
And he pulls the door open and he calls down the hall for like somebody, probably the same person. He just calls, "To me!" And you hear the sounds of like footsteps. And there are these two theaters who show up. They both have this kind of like orange and blazoned mask on, the robe similar. And they both get to either side of Jinzo this whole process.
This poor suffering citizen of Thistlehold has taken within him corruption. See to it that he gets his care.
And they both
Nod. Yes, Father Athino, we shall see to it.
and they both grab Jinzo on either side of his hand, on either side of his arm, and they start leading you away. What do you do, Jinzo? Knowing that you are deep within that Sun Temple right now.
How screwed do I know I am, if at all?
So, that's a great question. Roll a cunning test.
7? That's pretty good.
Oh my gosh, none of
19.
this is
Oh,
anything
man.
you're good at.
This was not the
This is
mission to
terrible.
send Jinzo on.
What is Jinzo good at? Oh,
We
he's just
don't
like one of
know.
his heist rolls.
Quick.
Quick,
He's,
okay.
good. He's really quick. He's good at fighting, it
Quick,
sounds like.
Quick is about
Yeah.
to help you, I think.
Okay. So I would say with that result, that's a pretty poor roll, 19. You would probably think you are in some trouble, but you also are a follower of Prios, are you not? Like, I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
You
I'm pretty
are, right?
familiar with it.
So at the same time, it's just like, I would say you would probably, as a follower, as a fervent follower, like, you might be in trouble, but at the same time, these are Theurgs. This is the first Theurg of Thistlehold, like Elfino. This is the head of this temple. If anyone could help you, it is these people.
Not to worry, Runa. If Father Alfino here sees corruption in me, hopefully they'll offer him Prius' mercy.
Yes, that's a good lad.
When might we expect this to reach its conclusion?
Prios and his mercy is on no one's timetable. You will see your friend again if Prios wills it, and when Prios wills it. Take him away.
And you feel these two Theurgs pull you out of the room and start escorting you down the hall.
I'll let him take me wherever for now.
Okay. We're going to cut from there so Melissa can figure out how she wants to handle the scene moving forward.
Oh dear.
And we're going to check back in with Atolia and with Gwydion. So last we saw you were in the northwest section of town. You were in the remains of the old Catchpole's place. So like a kind of debt collector kind of type. A few blocks away from Benegos, a few blocks away from the sinkhole barricades. You can see there's walls, furniture. It's been ruined in various ways. There's Gwydion, you're kind of standing in the main room, we'll say. Open door, broken wall, both leading in opposite directions. You know that one of the ruffians has fled. Unharmed living, and who they were, you never really got a chance to question them or anything like that. But you don't really know which way they went. There's no sign of it. Like they didn't leave any trail, and so they're as good as gone. Because once they get to the streets, it's like they'll just blend in with the crowd. Meanwhile, Atolia, you're in the smaller room. I mean, you've been working on Dismas. You've been using all of your skills, both mundane and magical, to try to heal him. So, what do you guys do? We'll start with Gwydion. Gwydion, what do you do?
I mean, he's stubborn enough that he'll search for a second, but if he can't find sign of them, he would at least try to look for something. But this person wasn't injured at all, so there's not going to be a blood trail to follow or anything like that. His best hope is like maybe he sees them knock somebody aside, but if there's no sign of that, then
Yeah, we'll say
probably
you run out into the alley. There are people coming and going here and there. Maybe you ask a question, but you get kind of like a cruel look back as like you are clearly a barbarian. You kind of see people kind of look side-eyed at you a little bit, but no one really answers you in any particular way. And by the time you get out to one of the main streets, one of the main intersections, you realize that there's crowds of people here, And once or twice you see like someone shove someone else, someone call out for a pickpocket, and you see kind of like this erratic exchange of things. But when you get up close and you see the pickpocket lying on the ground, it's like some 12-year-old kid. They're in rags, and like they're getting hauled away for the town guard. These kind of gruff veterans of the old war there, and you realize it's not at all looking like that which you were fighting. And after doing that for a few minutes and asking, getting no response, if any, no response that was useful, if any response at all. Maybe you try and kind of trudge back, and you can see like Atolia is working. So Atolia, I think you passed a couple times, so I won't make you roll again.
I healed him 2 times in a row.
I think so.
Where is it? 3 and 4, it looks like, is what I rolled on a d6 for a total of 7 HP.
You hear the sounds of like Gwydion running and calling and chasing, and it's just you in this room with 3 dead bodies. Blood everywhere, and the body of Dismas, blood everywhere on him, like just pouring from his throat. You patch up his throat, his neck as best you can, and at a certain point,
both hands pressed against his neck, just the glow of magic underneath them.
At a certain point, you see his eyes. One of them opens, and then the other, and he says, "Are they gone?"
They're not here no more, or they're all dead, thanks to Gwydion. But,
thanks to
don't
Gwydion.
talk. No,
Thanks to Gwydion. Thanks to Gwydion. I was dying because of him. And each time he talks, he's like spitting blood up each time.
Your throat isn't healed. Shut up.
Oh, it feels pretty... Oh, it hurts. Oh, you're right. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Oh, God.
You're still talking.
Oh, so was I? Sorry. Okay.
Gwydion still managed to save you, and yes, you did take some damage, but this was a fight, and you decided to trust a bunch of bad people, so...
He slowly moves his hand off of his throat and holds it up in the air.
5 syllables.
I thought I was help.
We appreciate the thought. However, it is a little bit of a thing. There we go. That's a little bit better. It was a bit of a thing where you didn't actually end up bringing us to the right people, and just people that wanted to murder us all. They were aiming to murder us, and if Gwydion had dropped his weapon, we all would have been dead. Yes. 5 more syllables.
They still could know things.
Okay, so you told them a lot, didn't you? All right, well, either way, for the moment, you can't talk. You're going to wreck your throat, so you're going to have to give it a moment, and in a little bit, maybe we'll talk about what you talked about with them. For now, we need to get somewhere safe, because we're still in the deep of the West End, and not in a great area, and not all of them are dead.
And he nods, and he's kind of like getting to his feet, and he kind of puts a finger over his lips, and then Gwydion comes in. And he's like, "You nearly got me killed!
Shut the fuck up!
What kind of protector are you?
Your throat is...
What kind of guard? Protect... Who lets their charge get stabbed?
5 syllables.
My mother was gonna hear this. And Yaramon too. They're both gonna hear it.
They should. Dismas. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry about killing those fuckers, because they made it clear they aimed to kill all of us. What I'm sorry about, I shouldn't have put you in this situation to begin with. It was stupid of me to send you out asking about the cult. I should have known that some fucked up thing like this would have happened. So regardless of whether I put down my weapon or I didn't put down my weapon, the fact that I asked you to look into this, it's my fucking fault, and I'm sorry.
Now, hold on a moment there. I think you are taking undue amount of self-blame.
It's my responsibility.
He is your
I
responsibility.
chose not to bring you down into the depths with us because I thought that would keep you safer, but then I asked you to do something stupid. It is my fault. I've got no argument you want to tell your mom that I fucked up big time, because I did fuck up big time.
What is the learning part of this?
He like looks at you as if he's waiting for permission to
Starts
talk.
with D.
Dismiss?
No. Discretion.
Determinate?
Discretion.
Well, that was being discreet.
Nope.
That's
Okay, how
why I
many
said
times
the
did you
note.
just rand? Okay, that was partially discreet. How many people did you talk to before you found these fellows?
I don't know. A bunch. Someone had to do it, though.
Not wrong. For now, Gwydion, yes, fine. You can take the self-blame and whatever
They
if you
knew
feel
stuff,
like
though.
this is a thing.
It's like they knew stuff, you know. And like if you would have talked to him, maybe even if they're bad, he could have learned something. But you didn't. You didn't do it. You just kept swinging. You think
I'm talking now.
You think
Okay,
you're
too many
gonna
syllables.
make Wrathguard like this?
Maybe not. But I'm not leaving you behind again either. So.
Gwydion, roll a persuasive.
Okay. Oh my god.
Can I have given him advantage with my sort of mediations?
No, this is more whether he's gonna forgive Gwydion immediately or if it's gonna take more time.
Fair enough.
It's not gonna happen.
You never know.
Yeah, no.
And he just, at this point, he kind of, I'll be quiet. Fine. And then he turns to you, Atolia. Thank you for saving my life. It's good that you have capable friends, at least.
Look, Dismas,
It's true.
Your throat is healed magically, but you still need to actually physically rest to actually recover. So if you can go stay where you're staying and just crash for like a couple of days, that'll be a big help to your throat. And you really just need to focus on recovering yourself right now.
Turns towards Gwydion. He's got this like angry look on his face. You want to send me away again? Is that what you want to do?
In fairness, I did just say I'm not going to send him away from me more.
All right, well, I'm just trying to be a medic. Never mind then. Ignore
No.
the doctor.
She's smarter than both of us, but I did make a promise and I don't break promises. So
So what?
He's saying that you can come with him wherever he goes, even if it's in the bowels of the deep dark, and even if you're bleeding all over the place, because obviously I can just keep picking you up again.
Good. That's more like it.
Awesome.
thank you. Also,
So-
sorry.
So, yeah, he's at this point, he's going to go sullen for a bit, not talk too much, not really look at you, Gwydion. And when he does, he's kind of got this angry look on his face. But you have 3 bodies butchered in front of you. Do you do anything with these bodies?
Do they have any arrows on them?
Let's see. You go through. They do actually have some bows. They do have some
Good,
bows, so
great.
I would say they probably
What
do have.
arrows?
It's a great question. Let's just roll a couple dice.
I'll loot them.
Yeah, we'll say like 10 between the
Nice,
3.
I'll take those.
They
Gwydion,
also
you
have.
don't want any of these, right? I'm going to take
No, I
these.
can't barely hit anything on the other side of the room.
Brilliant.
They also have 6 Thaler and 12 Ortegs between them. And they also have bows and spears, but you would be carrying bows and spears around in the town, so it's up to you whether you wanted to do anything with them.
Does Dismas have a bow at all?
He has like an axe of some kind, like a small axe that he carries around with him, and a knife on his belt.
I will give Dismas one of the bows and 3 arrows. You
Thank
gotta
you.
leave a little bit of distance between yourself and your enemies from now on, all right?
Okay.
Starter bow, so you can learn how to do it.
Oh, you're gonna teach me? He doesn't know how to do it.
All right, yes. Myself and maybe Madjac is a little bit better than I am. I usually use my magic to lead the bow, but I can help you at least with some of the basics. Let's see, there's 6 thaler here, so that's 2 for you, Dismas, 2 for you, Gwydion, and 2 for me.
His eyes like go wide as you hand over 2, and he's like, thank you. Yeah.
And I don't
Yeah.
Put
recall.
my 2 in his hand. We're gonna put this towards the shield for you.
We need better.
And he just
equipment
throws
to
the
hang out
2
with
thaler
us.
back at you. I don't need your charity.
It's not charity. It's making my job easier.
Dismas, how good are you with the spear?
Not
Not your weapon of choice.
no. I'm
All
more
right,
of a talker.
Hmm.
Uh-huh.
I like to negotiate. You know?
For now, we're going to work on your bow skills.
I'm gonna be like an envoy, like my mother.
Okay, well, for now, we're going to work on your bow skills because you need to survive before you can do any of that stuff.
Okay. All right.
And how much short was there? Was it Orteg
12
or
total.
Shilling? 12?
Shilling? No shillings. Just
Yeah,
Ortex.
sorry. Then four Orteg each. Here you go, Gwydion. And Dismas, here's your share as well.
He takes it and he starts putting it in. Oh, a good day's work.
It is. That is the job. And you are right. You need to look at your equipment and need to look at getting it improved. If you're going to be surviving with us, that's step 1, all right? I can't keep throwing all my spells at your bloody throat.
Oh. Okay.
All right, Gwydion, he's yours again, I suppose. Well, not yours, but you're training. And Dismas, I'll help you with the bow.
Okay. I don't really want to talk to him, though.
That's fine. You need to rest your throat anyway.
Oh, it's feeling better.
No, it's not.
He just coughs up like a chunk of... Oh, that's not good, is... Throws
No,
it down
it
to the ground.
isn't. No, it isn't.
Okay. And so we'll go ahead and we'll fade out of that.
You did
go ahead.
technically stop somebody from stabbing me in the back, so you can brag about your scar later.
Kind of looks at you. I told you. I don't need your flattery. They're going to hear about this. They told me anytime you're negligent, I tell them. And this was negligent.
True.
Yeah, Dismas was negligent, but it's still a bit of a conundrum because the other option was to go down, and we fought giant sea creatures with wings that floated around and spiked us, and we fought giant lizards, and we fought a lot of rather... No, all right. See, here's the thing. It wouldn't be great either way, and your hero worship is going to get you stabbed again.
Oh.
Fighting is not great.
I just thought there was like safety in numbers. And like all of you went down underneath there and you left me all by myself up on the surface.
Rowena nearly died
with
quite a few times.
Some kind
Rowena
of
nearly
cult
died,
that's
and I'm
trying
pretty
to
sure
kill
some of the
all
other
of you.
people did. Well, we're always seem to be trying to have a lot of people kill us, so.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
but in this case, you're right, Dismas.
uh-huh.
All
Okay.
right. For now, you guys cannot talk to each other if you prefer, and we probably ought to hang around the church to see if the other 2 get out.
Okay. And so we'll go ahead and we'll fade out of that, and we will kick back over to the church where we see Rowena in that same small room with Father Elfino. Father Elfino having just ordered a pair of Theurgs to take Jinzo away to see if they could do something about whatever seems to have been ailing him. And so, Rowena, it's just you and it's Elfino. And he kind of stares back at you at this point.
And he says, "Now, what is it that you came to discuss with me?" The Dirk said you were asking about a young woman.
Yes, and she had sort of still been looking in the direction that Jinzo was just sort of taken out. Yes. Yes, Anadea. Does that name ring a bell to you? That is the young woman in question, Anadea.
Yes. Anadea was an initiate in the temple up until approximately a month ago.
Yes, well, it would appear in the last month she had gone to talk to the witches and was trying to obtain their help in addressing a cult. Was that something she was talking about before she left here a month ago?
His eyes kind of went a little wide when you mentioned went and talked to the witches, and like his face kind of contorts in this bit of like disgust, like he's tasted something foul. And then you can see his jaw locks a bit, and his tone changes a little bit, little angry, a little bit more hostile all of a sudden. And he says,
"No one from the church has had contact in this time with Anadea. She did not speak with anyone here. She left the temple because she lost her conviction. And if what you say is true about her meeting with the witches, that is just further proof that she has gone very far astray."
Yes, I see. And so when we found some of her belongings, it had to do with, and she'll, kind of go over the like communications pearl and kind of the symbol on the pendant and kind of all the things that were found. And when we were off at the bidding of Euphrinda and the mayor, and this was our next stop to see what other information could be gathered about how all of these things perhaps fit together. I mean no offense, of course.
As I said, Anadea has had no contact with anyone within the Sun Temple.
And right as he's about to finish the sentence, you hear the door creak open, and another one of those Theurgs, much like the one that took Jinzo. It might even be the same one. They have these masks on. It's kind of hard for you to tell. And they come over and they lean right up next to Elfino's ear, and they start whispering into his ear. Roll a vigilant test as you see this happen.
Oh, wow. This side of the party is really rolling to our strengths. Let me tell you. That is an 18 over 7 is what that roll is.
You can't make out. It's vague, like whisper sounds, right? And you can tell that Elfino's face is one that already has a bit of annoyance to it, so it's really kind of hard to read him at this point beyond that. But once that Theur kind of leans away, you can see he kind of stands up. Elfino does. The Theur kind of passes by you out into the hall.
"Come with me."
And he kind of pushes past you. Not like literally pushing past you. He just walks past you into the hall and turns to look at you.
"This way, please."
Yes, of course. And she collects all of her belongings very hastily and shuffles along.
Okay. And dropping books along the way. And every time he's like, "Oh, seriously, this is ridiculous." But you are led. If you thought you were deep in the temple before, he is leading you even further and further into it. And you're kind of getting to the point, because it's a fairly circuitous maze of corridors and stairs. And at a certain point, you kind of just, if you had to find your own way out of here, it might not be that easy because it's just this way and that. And he seems to move with pace. He's not lingering. You can tell he's moving with kind of a quickness and alacrity and an anger to him. His steps just seem to feel like angry and loud. And eventually you go up this flight of stairs and you realize finally where you actually are, or at least where you end up. As you can see above you and to the side of you, you are in that copper dome that is over top of the temple building. You can see it from blocks and blocks away. You can see that that kind of bronze-like color, or that orange yellow colors is kind of right above you here and there. There are these like screen walls that have been set up within this area, and you can see like this sun yellow fabric that's kind of splitting the space up the way walls might. And you realize that there is somebody moving on the other side of one of these of one of these walls, and you hear a voice as you see like a very vague silhouette.
Is that the one I called for, Father Elfino?
And you see coming around is this old woman. She's got like scars on her face, like almost like they look like burn scars to you. And she's fairly short, wrinkled, yet she has an extremely straight posture, almost unnaturally so. And she's got these very lively, like brown eyes that are just taking you in completely. And before like Elfino is even able, he's about to like kind of introduce you, announce who you are. She just sort of says fairly curtly, "You may go, Elfino." And you actually hear the bottom row of teeth like clank against the top row as he closes and clenches, and he kind of turns around and leaves. And
Thank you. She sort of whispers as he leaves. Thank you. Thank you.
You can see as you do that, like, there's not a grin, but she's watching everything you're doing, and she starts to kind of rub her hands. You can tell, like, she's like rubbing them because they're probably aching. You can tell there's some like kind of swollen knuckles and fingers and such.
I am Deceiba, the faithful servant of Prios.
And Rowena, as she introduces herself, you have Lore Master, so roll a cunning test.
Okay.
It's a name you might recognize, in fact.
Come on, rolling against 15. Rolling against 50. Oh, are you freaking kidding me? It's a 16.
Okay.
And you take one
so
from
mad.
chat?
I'm so mad. Can I take one from chat? For the
What do we use? I completely
It's
forgot.
just like a bonus, a +1 to the roll.
But you got to call it out beforehand, right?
I did.
I'll tell you what.
Time.
You mark down 3 of them. I'll let you have it. That's the trade-off.
Right.
You always gotta ask.
I'm taking that. Yes. Thank you.
I like milking this stuff. Okay.
I got it.
So you do then recognize that name. You remember from your studies or from just reading in the various books that you have within Order Magica and about the history of Ambria that Deceba the Old is a name that is quite well known to both scholars and anyone who has a fervent belief in Prios. I mean, more than likely, Jinzo would be able to recognize this person, and that she is essentially the only individual that has ever been appointed Lightbringer before her death. Like, so not posthumously. So most of the time, that title is gifted to somebody after they have died. But she earned that title, apparently. She saved the story as it goes is that she, Deceba the Old, saved the life of the queen in the First Father, who is sort of like the equivalent of like the Pope, basically. He's not in Thistlehold, during the war. And so this is like you're meeting with an extraordinarily well-known figure within all of Ambria.
And so her face would reflect that, kind of as that recognition sort of washes over her. Her eyes just get very big. And she does this just very, she's carrying all of her stuff in her hands, and she just kind of does sort of a curtsy almost. Oh, ma'am, it's so very nice to meet you. And as she's sort of curtsying, it's almost like her books are kind of like about to start falling out, and she kind of like grasps them back again and stands up very straight.
Okay. She doesn't laugh, doesn't crack a smile. She just sort of watches you. And once you're done doing whatever embarrassing introduction that Rowena does, she lets you go through it all without interrupting you. And she just says,
"Why have you come to the Sun Temple today?"
Yes. As I was explaining to Father Elfino, so there's a woman who studied here by the name of Anadea, and she went to talk to the witches about concerns about a cult, and we found in her belongings a communication pearl and a symbol, and yes, she was attempting to seek the help of our group for this cult that she's trying to track down. And she's frantically searching her notes to make sure that she gives the most thorough kind of list of tidbits of information that she possibly can. And she's like licking her thumb and thumbing through everything. And yes, the pearl, and we gave the pearl to Master Eufrinda with Word of Magica, and she's licking her thumb and thumbing back through again. Yes, and the symbol as well, and a house key, a key to her house. That I believe we still have, and she's like going through seeing if she can find it.
she lets you again fumble completely, doesn't try to help you, doesn't interrupt you, just lets you go through your process. And the whole while, you can tell she's listening very intently. Like her forehead crinkles as you talk more and more about cults and witches and corruption and all that. And she gets kind of a very serious look on her face as she tries to almost raise an eyebrow at one point. The scars, those burn scars across her face, like don't quite let it. You can see one of her eyebrows is like almost only half there.
Yes, Anadea was a novice within the temple. It is a pity that she is not here with us any longer. I have been told that she left some things behind before she left us, and I could arrange for you to have access to them. However, this will be an exchange of services, but you have need of me, and I, due to the events of these last few days, have need of you.
Quite tragic, just so much suffering and death. It's been so very tragic. I far be it for me to be able to be of service to you, ma'am, but anything that I could possibly do, our group is very committed to doing everything that we can for Thistlehold and trying to get answers. And she's realizing that she just sort of keeps letting her stumble over words, and so she's starting to catch herself stumbling over them a little bit earlier now.
I was told by one of my many informants that you were accompanied recently by an individual who helped one Father Salvola outside the Adovakar Tavern. I was told that this individual had very unsettling eyes, and that the party was mixed. But amongst them was an Ordo Magica adept. Do I have the right person? Is my information accurate?
Of course it is.
Good. Since you have already shown such a willingness to help Father Sarvola before, I merely hope that you are willing to do so again.
And we'll cut from there. And we will go to Jinzo. Jinzo, you have been escorted down, kind of back the way you came, in fact. Like the opposite direction from where we saw Rowena go. And they lead you to that big door, that big kind of stone-looking door with all the locks and stuff on it. And they reach down to start taking your weapons from you. If they haven't already, we'll say you still have them just for the sake of things. But they start taking them from you.
You will get these back when you are cleansed. We shall keep them in good order. Until then, rest assured.
Right. I will give him the weapons.
And so they take them, and like they turn around, and you can see this other kind of servant wander up. Not a Thier, but it looks like a servant of some kind, or maybe it's a novice. And they take your weapons. And then the door creaks open as they go through all these different locks. And one of them, you can see, grabs what looks like a lantern that is kind of hanging from a hook nearby. And they start leading forward. And the other one gets behind you. And you see they start descending this spiral staircase. And you hear the voice behind you.
Please, keep up. We have many tasks to accomplish today. There are many parishioners who we must see to, who wish to receive the blessings of Prios.
I'm blessed that I'm ahead of them, and I'll keep up pace.
Yes, you are.
And slowly you find yourself going down this dark circular staircase. And it's like you go 15, 20 feet down, maybe, the spiral. And then you can see that the stairs kind of continue down, but they stop on this sort of first or second level down. And you can see there's this arched tunnel, and there's this paved floor. And about 10 paces beyond the stairs, you can see the tunnel kind of opens up to this dimly lit hall. And you can see on either side of that hall are these doors, these cell doors. And you can see that there are bars. And you hear all sorts of like these strange screams and giggling and cackling coming from them. And the guy in front of you, the Theurg in front of you, is quietly leading and goes down that hall. And on the left-hand side, he opens a cell. And you hear a voice from behind you.
If you would, please. You will be well cared for. Do you have family who you wish to be notified of your current condition?
Yes, my father.
Your father? Henford.
Lives in the northern square.
We shall find him, and we shall make him aware of your current condition. Of that you have our promise.
I'm quite a ways down. Does Prios' light make it here?
Oh, do not worry, my son. Prios can reach all of the dark places in the world. And these cells,
as he puts like his hand gently on the door and then runs him across the bars,
has been blessed by Prios.
You are in his warm embrace.
Well, I'm going in.
So you go inside, and it's a solo cell. They exit. They close the door, and you hear as the locks are locked, and you are suddenly alone as the Theurgs depart, and all you can currently hear are the sounds of cackling and various other things, like foul language, blasphemy, heretical talk. It's all kind of cackling through the darkness. Anything you want to do, Jinzo?
Yeah, how much light is actually down here?
There are some lanterns in the middle of the hall kind of hanging down. So you do get a little bit of light that comes in through the front, like through the window where the bars are. But it's like a dark recesses in the back where there is like a small little mat where you can sleep and a bucket in the corner. That's kind of dark, but right by the front door, by where you came in, there's a little bit of light.
Yeah, take a good look around, observe the environment, the people down here, if there's actually people getting help, any Theurgs.
Okay. Roll a vigilant test.
A 9 under 10.
What's that? How'd you do?
9 under 10, so I succeeded.
So you get a pass? Okay.
Now you succeed. Now that you're in jail, now you start to see better rolls.
You notice, first of all, in your cell, there are some blocks that have like scrapes in them, and they kind of wrap around a significant chunk as if somebody was tracking how long they've been here. And there's like this little, it like wraps around all the way around the bottom, and then another level. You kind of do the quick math, and it's like literally hundreds of markings. You can see that there's stains everywhere on the walls, on the floors. There's a foul stench in here as well. So your cell has seen some attention. You do, as while you're looking around and maybe you're peeking out the window, like the barred window in your door, you do hear a voice from across the hall as the Theurgs that kind of attended to you are kind of going through and just sort of checking on each of the cells. You just hear a voice.
I'm well now. I'm well now. I am healthy as a bell. Healthy as a bell. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. You can let me out now. You can let me out.
And like the Theurgs are just like,
quiet down, Master Orai. Quiet down.
And he's like,
I don't want to be quiet. I'm tired of being quiet. I don't like the quiet. The quiet is bad. There is no warmth in the quiet.
Now, Master Orai, you are getting hysterical.
You're hysterical. You're hysterical.
and this is kind of exchange happens, and you just listen to it. A couple other voices, a little bit further distant, but that's the closest one. It's kind of across the hall from you.
I'll wait for the Theurgs to step aside or move along, and I'll see if I can shout across the hall.
Okay. So some time will pass as you hear a similar interaction. And eventually they pass. And you shout across. What is it you say?
Yeah, buddy. How long you been in here?
Okay, so you shout across.
I'm not your buddy. 10 days, a year, 2 moons. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? There is no light. There is no light. I cannot tell. I cannot tell. Longer than you. Not as long as others.
That helps a lot. So I'll probably go back and meditate, maybe recite some prayers for you. Just wait for some time to come.
All right. We'll cut then to Atolia and Gwydion. I want to check back in. The two of you said that you're going to go by the church. We'll say you make it over to the church. and it's a little later in the day. Dismas in tow. Dismas has been very sullen and quiet. But you're now at this point, you've made it across the town. And you are like kind of east, nearing the eastern gate. I told you pass by this often on your way to the eastern gate and out to Blackmore. So you all are well acquainted with where you're going. And you can see the Park of the Elders across the street. It's just filled with all sorts of people. You can tell that those of sort of the more commoner status, like the less affluent, are usually there, and they're getting blessings from various theurgs who are coming around, some carrying censers and kind of making various motions and reciting certain scripture. And you can see that there are statues all over the place, some in the park, some flanking the stairs that lead up until the Sun Temple. We can see that golden dome. And looking around, between the three of you, at no point do you actually see Rowena or Jinzo or Madjac for that matter. So, what do you want to do?
Well, I'm definitely not going in there.
Yeah. No.
Do you think Rowena is still in there? Do you think Jinzo is still in there? I haven't seen Madjac, but I don't think he knew we were heading to this church yet.
Yeah, I don't think he would have gone in there either.
Well, we could wait, I guess, outside for a little bit. If it gets too late, I guess we try again tomorrow. Send out a message.
I suppose so.
Okay. So as you settle in, you find a nice place to sit. The park is very beautiful, if
I'll
solemn.
start making herbal cures if I can while we wait outside.
Sure. I have no problem with that at all. Absolutely. Okay. And as long as you don't do anything like magical, and as long as you don't do any sort of changeling shifting, they probably won't bother you whatsoever. Okay. Meanwhile, we'll cut back inside over to Rowena, who is speaking with Decibel the Old. And she has just said to you that she needs your help with Father Sarvola. And since you've already done it, she assumes all you need to do is do it again. And then she will help you. So how do you respond to that?
Oh, why, yes, of course. Our first act of assistance was mere happenstance, as it sounds like you are already aware. But yes, what would our assistance entail this time?
Are you a devout follower of Prios, dear? Of Prios. We are in a sun temple, after all.
Well, yes, of course. I keep up with all of my readings and whatnot.
Are you familiar with the plight of Father Sarvola?
And Rennie, you can roll a cunning test if you want to see what you know about the reputation of Father Sarvola. It's possible we've already touched on some of this, but I don't remember if it was you specifically you got it, so we can just do it again.
Okay, I will call a +1 ahead of time. Let's hope I can roll under a 16. That's a 7.
Okay, so you would know, and there are many who would know, that Father Sarvola has been literally deemed a heretic by the first father, a Jasiba guy. And the first father is again like the Pope, and he's been deemed a heretic. Now, the reason that he has been deemed a heretic to people who are forgiving towards him, who are sympathetic towards him, is because he is sort of preached more of an open and sympathetic kind of doctrine in ways that some of the more hardlining folk of the church don't, right? So he's more willing, for instance, to have like a soup kitchen, like in Blackmore, to help out the poor and the goblins, and that he has a mission house specifically within the walls of Thistlehold. So like he's helped out both, and he also has again, shown willingness to outside of just pure Ambrian. He's willing to sort of open up his doors and his assistance to any who want it. And that has led to him being deemed a heretic. And he was very vocal in his, in his arguments towards the First Father. And this has sort of led to it. So it's basically, church politics, effectively. Now, from what you know, it's not like he's under arrest. He's here. Everyone knows where he's at. And it's because there has been presumed to be some kind of backdealing with Thistlehold itself, with Night Pitch, probably, to kind of allow him here as long as he's kind of within the walls, because Night Pitch kind of doesn't mind it because it's such a diverse town that having that has actually kind of helped in some way. So like that's sort of what you would probably understand. So you are familiar.
Yes. I do know him by reputation, and as you already mentioned, my traveling companions are of a assorted lot, and while that was not done with any intent, that would, I suppose, fall in line with some of Father's teachings.
Yes. You are a diverse ragtag group of adventurers, are you not? Now, before I go any further, I must have your word, and I presume you have the ability to influence those who might assist you in this task to keep the same promises that you will make today. Absolutely no one can know about our terms here. The Sun Temple of Thistlehold. We still report to the First Father Bagai, and we cannot be seen as helping a heretic like Father Salvola. You are a very intelligent girl, and I know that you can see the potential consequences for such a revelation. And this is not just for myself. This is for all of the church, every liturg, every theurg, and every follower of Prios within the Palisades here. Do you understand?
So, yes, and Rowena's nodding because we did have the whole conversation before we came back up about what we were and weren't going to tell Master Eufrenda. And everyone sort of did get on board with some of the things that we weren't sharing. And so when she nods that she would be able to kind of convince everyone, she feels justified in that. Yeah. Like, yes, I think they would listen to me.
I'm not requiring a roll. If that's what Rowena thinks, then there's no reason to roll. You're not lying. You might not be right, but you're not lying.
Yeah. But then at the second part of it, she's like, yes, so then doing this task would then not be something that I would share with Master Eufrenda then. That would not be something to share with her.
Most certainly not. And your master, and I do not mean to speak out of turn, has a bit of a reputation for what's the phrase? A busybody. Many a story has come here about her behavior at the salons of Symbaroum. So, no, I respectfully ask, you do not bring her into your confidence. Only those who aided you in helping Father Salvola, or those that you feel can be trusted.
Yes, that is something that that is something that I can do. Yes. And she, like, it was a little like, oh, I'm not telling my master something, but yes. And then she kind of straightens back up again. Yes, that is an assurance that I can provide to you.
Excellent. Now, Father Salvola, in his time here,
has always been subjected to some level of harassment, bullying. But the incidents of the past few days, the opening of the sinkhole, the destruction, several blocks of Thistlehold, the creatures that came up from below, and the deaths of so many. Well, that has unfortunately amplified some of that harassment and emboldened those who would bully him, so that it is not just bullying, but assassination attempts as well. Now, I believe that these are not simply ordinary vagrants who are putting their sadness and anger in the direction of Father Salvola, but no, there is someone who guides their hand, I believe. Coordination, and I sense strategy at play. And I believe that the sinkhole and the attack on Thistlehold has offered this strategic element an opportunity for escalation.
I see.
So, what I require of you is to find out who it is that wishes Father Salvola harm. I would like you to deal with them. And in return, I shall give you access to all of Anadea's belongings that we have access to, and any guidance or wisdom I might provide.
Yes, so you mentioned find who is behind all of this and deal with them.
Yes.
By any means necessary?
My girl, are you implying that I am suggesting that you break some law of man? No, of course not. The mayor, the town guards, some of them are noble people. You do what you feel is necessary. Report them to me and to the authorities, however comes to pass.
I see. So just, okay. And yes, I do believe that this is something that we can do. Yes.
Excellent. And we have an accord.
One small detail. You mentioned that you were seeking the help of myself and my companions. Yes, believing that we could do this task. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So unfortunately, when we came here to seek this information, one of those companions, a very vital companion to this group, was taken away, which might make this a bit more difficult of a task to not have our full group together.
She takes a step closer.
Give an old lady your hand, will you? And help me. We have a long way to travel.
Oh, yes, I would be honored. And she moves sort of her bags and books to the one side so that she can kind of take her arm on the other. Yes, absolutely. I would be honored.
She grabs your hand or your wrist, and it's like a vice grip. And you realize that she is not as frail as she might be leading on. And she pulls you very close so that you can feel like heat coming off of her face as she says to you,
"You wish to negotiate terms?"
I want to ensure that we are successful in this, and I have seen the bravery of my companion and would not wish for us to be at less than full strength to succeed in this very important task for you.
She pulls you a little bit closer.
I'm told you spoke of witches and corruption, cultists, yes. And I'm told that your companion is corrupted. Are these untruths?
It appears that that is the belief, but he indicated that his scar was quite old, and I believed that to be the case, and I do not believe that there was anything more there. Of course, I completely understand where the suspicion would have come from, and I would never deign to second guess the choices that were made, but I do believe my companion.
She's got like your wrist in her hand, and it's very tight. And it almost is actually starting to hurt. And then she kind of folds it around until the two of you are kind of like arm in arm. And then she kind of pats it, and then she leads you out of this domed chamber, and you start descending and traveling through the temple corridors again. And she starts like just kind of idly talking.
And she's thinking, in a town like Thistlehold, my dear, the dark is never so far away. Its representatives are, for better or worse, very careful to not get noticed, unlike your friend, who took very little care, in fact. Now, normally this means that they seldom consciously cause atrocities, and also that they are very hard sometimes to detect and to terminate. In my time, we have learned that humans who ally themselves with the powers of the eternal night, that they exist is unavoidable. But perhaps also necessary. For it shows other Ambrians, like yourself, what happens when the laws of Prios are abandoned. Now, the ambition of the church cannot be to eliminate all heretical behavior. I would not be here asking you about the other task if such a thing was true. But our task must be to guide skeptics to the way of light and to help those who have been led astray.
And she's doing this all while she's like navigating through those really circuitous corridors. Like you can see she passes by a few like theurgs and liturgs who are kind of like genuflect and get out of her way. And she's just kind of like almost old woman, like her back is straight as a board, but she's like tapping you on the hand as she does.
And she's like purging heretical elements that threaten pious people such as you, my dear. Yes. Well, the Knights of the Dying Sun do such a admirable job, wouldn't you say?
Of course, but of course. And like anything that she's saying, she's just sort of like, yes.
And you find yourself, as she asks that question, she stops and you are now staring at this big, thick, heavy door that you've passed. There's a bunch of locks on it. And with her other hand, while still locked arm in arms with you, she starts going and unlocking the various locks.
In the Twilight Friars, in their whip of Prios, they identify and they deal with sacrilegious individuals. Yes. Would you say they are necessary and effective, my dear?
Can I do a cunning just to sort of track
Sure.
what? Okay.
You would know who the Twilight Friars are. The Twilight Friars are basically a section of the church, sort of like They're like witch hunters, basically. If you want to think like black cloaks, stuff like that. Like that's kind of what they are.
Yes. Whatever it matters. They're like a 3 under 15.
Okay. Yeah. So you would know all of that, right? And the Whip of Prios is just sort of like the, again. So like what they specifically are doing is they're looking for like witches, abominations, and they hunt them out. It's kind of the deal. It's pretty common. It's not necessarily something terrible. That witches exist isn't necessary. It's not like they hunt every single witch down necessarily, but some might want to. Now, the door opens. She pulls the door open with her hand, and you hear this like as it opens up, and it drags across like the tile. And she, with that free hand, pulls this lantern down, and she never like unhooks her arm from yours. And there's like this wash of like air, this warm, foul stench coming up, and you can see this dark, spiraling staircase going down. And she starts to lead you forward. And, like, you can feel her tugging, and she is quite strong.
Yeah.
Do you come with her?
Is this where they have taken him? It was not so long ago. We were in Father Elfino's presence.
Now, my dear, in these catacombs are captives in varying states of corruption. Some beyond salvation, and they will be transported to the Twilight Monastery, rest assured. Others, however, perhaps your friend is one, are involuntary victims, and Father Elfino and his priest are trying to save them.
And you hear like the door start to creak behind you as a different Thier closes it, and you are now like in the middle of this staircase, this lantern, and it's just you and her, and you can kind of hear the vague screams and cackles from below.
And Rowena's eyes are just very wide, and she's like had been more overtly vocalizing, "Oh yes, yes, of course, yeah." And she's at this point, just her eyes are very wide, and she's just more of the
Now, the one that we go to visit is near the top of these catacombs. There are those who are further down who suffer from very advanced, very gruesome symptoms of stigmatization. But do not worry. They are caught behind bars blessed by Prios. There is little risk of escape.
And it's at this point, you guys, the two of you, get off the stairs, and you're in this tunnel. You see this hall. Jinzo, you hear voices. And she says to you, Rowena,
The one you will meet is called Ori. He was nearly dead when he was captured close to Karabadoc, the goblin village. This was the day before the sinkhole appeared, and he has been subjected to very strong corruption. He has very interesting tales to tell, if he is well enough to tell them today. Do you have the backbone for it, my girl?
Well, yes, of course I do. But we are going to find and she's confused at this point because she thought that maybe they were going to get Jinzo, and then she's talking about Ori, and Ori is not Jinzo, and so she just sort of her wide-eyed, overwhelmed sort of turns to a little bit of confusion. But yes, of course I do, and this is going to retrieve my companion.
And Jinzo, you hear Rowena's voice, and Deceba never responds to that. She just kind of pats you on the arm a bit. She kind of lets you go at this point too, and she starts to move in the direction of a door on the right. But Jinzo, you hear the voice of Rowena down here, and you hear an old woman's voice as well. Do you do anything?
Yeah, I'm gonna yell at my cell door. Rowena, is that you over here?
Yes, Jinzo. And Rowena was sort of like rubbing her wrist where it had been sort of like held onto so tightly for so long. And she's sort of like rubbing her wrist a little bit. And she looks to Decima a little bit and then starts to walk in the direction of Jinzo. Jinzo, I would...
Get me out of here, please. It's been days.
Are you... Oh, it has not... I just left you. The stress of it, I cannot imagine the stress of being taken down here, but it was mere hours ago that we were in Father Elfino's office. Yes, I've come
only hours. My friend says it's been days at least.
Your friend? And she sort of looks back to Decima.
And she's standing right next to the cell across from Jinzo's. Got the lantern in her hand, and she's just staring at you. Impassive face. Can't read it.
Okay, so, yes, you mentioned we were going to speak with Ori?
Oh, yes, if he's up to it.
He's my friend over there.
He's your friend, is he? Master Ori, have you made friends? Let me out! I feel so much better. Let me out or I'll rip out your heart, grown. Yes, is that the sound of your friend? There.
But that's not my friend. That's my friend. He sounds just fine. That's
my
not
dear,
my friend.
I wasn't speaking that to you, but to the one in the other cell. Is this one your friend?
I've acquainted with him since I've come down here.
Oh, have you now? Oh, yes, he is my... we are best of friends. We were on the expedition together. We went together. We were betrayed together.
Oh.
Did you go on the expedition with them?
And she starts to like waddle now like over towards Reina and the doors, and she kind of peers inside and she sees Jinzo for the first time.
Oh. Well, I am unfamiliar with you. What is your name?
Hello, I am Jinzo.
Hello, Jinzo. My name is Decima. I am a faithful Theurg of Prios. And if you are here, then... well, I shall do whatever I can to ensure your healthy treatment.
And Jinzo, I think we've talked about it. You're a devout, so you would know the name. Like you would know that this is like...
Lightbringer herself. Yes, of course.
Well, if you would not mind, your friend Rowena here is getting very easily distracted. We have an interrogation to perform with your friend. Perhaps you might help us then.
I've got nothing else to do.
But pray and focus. That is what you have to do. But for now, we'll accept your aid, Jinzo.
And so she looks at Rowena and kind of waddles across back to the gate, back to the cell.
Master Ori, if you could please tell my new associate here that which you have told many times already.
And what do you do, Rowena? Are you staying by Jinzo? Do you go to the cell? What are you doing?
Rowena definitely sees Decima as the way to get Jinzo out, and Decima kind of calls her on sort of having the spine to deal with this. So I would say every time Decima shuffles from one side, Rowena's like right next to her. And so now that Decima's kind of put her attention back to Ori, she is right next to her.
Okay. And you're looking into, so she's looking in, and you hear like this cackling, this mad cackling, and you hear just the foulest like profanity coming out from there. Many things directed in terms of violence towards Decima, and then you, when you show your face. And you can tell that Decima is completely not bothered by this, nonplussed entirely, and it's just like kind of makes a hand gesture, just like,
He'll tire himself out.
and when you look inside, you can see this middle-aged man, and he's sitting cross-legged, and he's like squinting at the lantern that Decima's holding, and is like hissing between these like clenched teeth. He's got this like white chemist on, and he's covered in all sorts of yellow stains, and you can see that he's got these open wounds here and there, so it's probably like pus and such kind of dripping down. And when he sees you, he's like,
I'll rip her heart out too. Why should I tell you? I told the others and I'm still here. I don't want to be here anymore. I'm better.
So, Jinzo, you hear all this happening. Rowena, you're standing here, you're looking through. And do you, either of you, say anything to this man who's just like cackling with mad? He's clearly mad. Do either of you say anything?
So Rowena heard Decima discuss an interrogation.
Yeah, and she's like asking him questions, and was telling you on her way down, like, there's corrupted people here and there, and this man specifically that you're going to meet, he appeared the day before the sinkhole appeared. And that he was subjected to very strong corruption, because you had mentioned things like cults and witches and corruption and stuff as you were talking to her and talking to Elfino. And so she was bringing you down to meet this man.
Yes, Mr. Ori, did you have knowledge of Onodea?
I have knowledge of everything. I am infinite. I know all. I have been gifted so many things. I have been gifted the spirit of a god. I have seen things you people would not believe. Black mists wafting from the surfaces of Davaka, a mooing and cowing dead god, bleeding and bleeding, yet still alive. Yeah.
Dead god, you say? Tell us more.
Why? Let me out. I will tell you, kill this one, kill the old one, and then set me free, and I will tell you everything. Everything. She is an old woman. She is a crone. She is nothing. She is not blessed. She is not blessed. We will tear through her together. We will rip her apart. We will play music on her ribcage. We will stretch her entrails around the palisades of Thistlehold. You and I together, my friend. Is that not right, my friend? Is that not right?
Kind of calls out across to like Jinzo.
I don't remember him being all murderous like that.
It's pretty much been an ongoing psychopathy. Yeah.
Sure. And Rowena's, she holds the keys to your cell. Your freedom
Yes.
requires belief in your information.
No. It requires you with a fast hand. Cut her throat. Cut her wrinkly, thin tissue paper. Cut it.
I will do no such thing. You will tell us what we need to know. What of this dead god?
Roll a persuasive. I will give you a +3 because Jinzo is his friend and is periodically saying something.
Okay, so I am trying to roll under a 13. Oh, Are you kidding me? I rolled a nat 20.
Okay. Jinzo, you are welcome to participate, but when you won't agree to slaughter her.
I will say nothing to you either. Nothing. They fall on deaf ears. You are weak. You are weak. You are cowed by an old crone. You are nothing. Nothing.
And you see like Decepa.
He will tire himself out in time. Do not worry.
Jinzo.
What of my companion?
What of him? He is here for a reason. He is not here out of happenstance. He is not here because someone bears him ill will. He is here because he has been corrupted, and he needs our help.
You do believe that he has been corrupted? Is there no, and I mean no offense here, but there is no chance that perhaps with everything that's happened, there was abundance of caution that might have been applied in excess in his situation?
I believe in the fidelity of my Theurgs. Do you not believe?
I have seen that everyone here is quite on edge and distressed, quite understandably, with all of the death that has happened. And sometimes in such situations when everyone is seeking to find answers, the way they respond to that is with fear. And there are times that can be overdone in an attempt at security.
Roll a vigilant test. Is the
Come on,
Audience,
good roll.
audience, remember
I'll
audience
take
dice?
a +1. I'll take a +1.
I don't know why I didn't use them
To
for
be
that
under 8.
persuasive. How'd you do?
I
Sorry,
didn't yell and remind everybody.
It was a nat 20s. I rolled a 1.
You are talking, you're saying these things, and you catch a flicker of movement in the corner of your eye, and you see like thrusting this gnarled, like they're not talons, just lengthy fingernails. As they come out from between the bars, you can see this like burn of his skin as his arm, kind of his forearm, crosses the bars that have been blessed by Prios. But he screams in pain, and he tries to rake out at Decepa, but you see it just in time to just kind of push the arm away. You hear this crack. The arm just kind of goes limp for a second, and he pulls it back and never utters like a yelp of pain. And he just sits back down, and his arm just kind of hangs there limply. You can see it's clearly broken. And he just kind of stares at you with this like sort of dark, evil look.
Very, very quick reflexes there, my dear. Quick reflexes indeed.
I'm so glad that you were not injured.
Yes. I don't think this one could have harmed me, but I thank you for your aid, nonetheless.
And at that point, she turns, and she walks over to Jinzo's cell. And you hear a clanking, and she pulls like this bit of keys out from underneath one of the layers of her robe, and she undoes your door, Jinzo. She opens it up.
You are allied to this one.
Yes. For a couple days now.
Come here. Let me see you.
I'll step closer.
And she peers, and she looks at the scar, and she kind of puts her hand on you and starts fiddling around with it, kind of pressing her fingers.
Yes. There is something here. There is a darkness in you. However, there are greater goods that need doing. I shall make a bargain with you. What is your name?
Jinzo.
I shall make a bargain with you, Jinzo.
I shall
Get that one to talk. aid Rowena in the task I have given her. When the time has come, you will voluntarily subject yourself to treatment once more within these halls. What say you?
If Prios believes I've been corrupted, I shall return.
She steps very close, and again, you can feel heat off of her.
Do not let the lack of sunlight make you think that Prios does not see you now. Do not speak a falsehood to me. You speak true.
Give you the truth.
Now, speak with your new friend.
All right, buddy.
Let me out.
Cutter. Oh, friend. Yes. You have freed yourself. Yes, free us all. Find the keys, free us all.
Since I've been freed, I can free you now. All you need is to tell me.
Yes, free. I feel so much better now. Yes, I do. I am overjoyed to see the face. Yes. What must I say, friend? What must I say? We shall journey upwards together. A reckoning will bring them. Yes, a reckoning.
All you have to do is tell me more about what you saw when you fell in the chasm.
What I saw. It is nothing. It is a sad tale of Horai when he is betrayed. Yes, that's all it is. It is very sad indeed.
And he looks beyond you, and at this point, Rowena and Desipa is kind of she's staying back and out of sight, as it's just Jinzo at the door. And he's like, I was hired a sellsword. Yes, we were both sellswords, were we not? Yes. Some days ago, a day, a year, 10 moons. Time is so fickle, friend. Time is so fickle. We went on an expedition to the depths of Davakar, the darkest places. We were led by the woman. Yes, you know her, the woman. Oh, goodness, the changeling, ever shifting, shaping in the dark. Yes, the butcher with the axe. You know the one. Yes. She brought us there. Hundreds of her. Dozens, hundreds. How many were there, friend? You know the number. Yes, you know it. How many were there of us?
Hundreds.
Hundreds, yes, you are right. Sorcerers, killers, beast-jawed barbarians as tall as the sky. Yes. Light beast, minstrels, drummers, and 4 small, faceless girls. Yes, you remember those, friend. Yes, you remember those.
You'd remind me about them. I seem to forgot.
You forgot? How could you? Perhaps it was the god. Yes, the god we found, the forest spirit. Yes, an ancient being. Hooves of gold, antlers of diamonds. Our eyes sparkled with riches and power. You remember, friend? You remember the diamonds. You remember the gold. You remember the goal, though, was to make it dead. Yes, that's what it was now. And so we did. We attacked it, we killed it, and it did nothing to defend itself. The god merely died. The meat axe the changeling carried struck at its neck until the head fell off. It fell. Yes, it did. It fell to the earth. It rolled and rolled. But still it moved. It moved and it moved. I can still hear it. Can you not? I can still hear it. The sound cut my soul to pieces, friend. Yes, pieces scattered in the forest. And then the betrayal. Yes, I felt a sword through my back, and the world went black. Steel. It was like ice, yes.
It was my payment. I was promised power. I was promised coin. I was not promised steel, my friend. I was not promised that. But the bull god did die. It did not die, in fact. Neither did I. Neither did you. It is so good to see your face, yes.
Who hired us again?
You know her. The woman. The changeling. The butcher with the axe, yes, you know her. The one whose face shifts and shifts and shifts and shifts like shadows. Yes, yes, yes. Did the black mist cover you too, my friend? Did it? Covered the world. It filled me with power, such sweet darkness. Did it fill you too, my friend? Yes, it did. I don't know what happened to the rest of the expedition. They cut off the antlers, I think. And the hooves. I believe they followed the Whispering Skull to Ratavalala. Yes. The black heart of Davokar with Symbaroum is about to awaken. Yes, friend. That is what became of them. Or maybe they are still here, because I hear it mooing still. I hear it mooing still. I don't recall. I don't know. If you listen closely, you can hear it. Listen. Put your ear to the rock. To the wall. Do it. You'll hear it.
I put my ear to the wall.
Yes. Do you hear the croon? Do you hear it?
I hear it, but I don't really hear it.
Yes. And that is my tale. Sad one. Betrayal. Sad. Betrayal. But friend, you get us free now, and a reckoning we will bring. A reckoning we will bring. Yes, yes.
When you're well, we can free you.
Oh, I feel quite well. I feel quite well, friend. Yes.
And I'll look at the others. I think he's told the story.
No, friend. Come back, friend. Come back, friend. I'll tear your heart out with the crones if you don't. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry, friend. Let me go.
And he's just like starting to like freak out and panic, and Decibel kind of turns and says to like Rowena and Jinzo,
And I believe that is all that he has to impart to us today. Do you know what it is that he speaks?
I only know of the black mist he speaks.
I believe we have heard rumors that a forest god did somewhat have something to do with what has happened. I had not yet heard about a bull god and hooves and mooing, but a forest god that was not Prios, that was perhaps being worshipped.
I had hoped his ramblings were that of a madman. But perhaps there is some truth to them somewhere. We shall pray on it. We shall think on it. But for now, you have a task, do you not?
Yes, we all have a task, and Marina sort of looks in Jinzo's direction. We have a task to do.
You are indebted to me, both. I have offered more to the deal than first I was willing to. Do not make me regret it. Yes?
Oh, yes, and Marina sort of looks over to Jinzo, and we are very appreciative that you were willing to make this kind and generous offer.
I'm a bit confused at what Rena's trying to signal to me, but I'm like...
We are
I've made it all right
we are
talk.
appreciative,
She's
yes?
freed me. Oh, of course.
Yes.
No. There is little time. Tend to our friend. And return to me when the deed is done.
Yes. Should we depart?
And at this point, yeah, she leads you up out of the catacombs. She calls out for a theurg, or for a servant, and they fetch your things. And eventually, the two of you are let out. And Atolia and Gwydion, it's dark out at this point. You're probably getting ready to leave. Dismas has been being a total pain in the ass. Atolia, you've managed to make a few things here or there, I'm sure. And you see, coming down the stairs out from the main temple, you see Rowena and Jinzo. And Jinzo looks a little worse for wear as he descends down into the Park of the Elders. And the four of you with Dismas are together.
And I would say that Rowena was moving very hastily. And if Jinzo is okay with it, almost sort of like taking his hand and like pulling him along, kind of as we're going up the stairs and sort of out of this temple a bit, and sort of being courteous to Decibel on the way out, but almost sort of dragging him along, almost like worried that someone's going to change their mind. And this isn't really going to happen.
It's the rush winner. You shouldn't be running through these halls.
Oh, I mean no disrespect. I'm just so very thankful that you are not there anymore, and I would like to leave this very. Yes, I have a lot of respect for this, but I did not ever think that I would see that portion of this building, and I'm so very glad that you're out. And then she almost realizes that she was sort of like taking you by the hand and pulling you out, and so sort of like awkwardly kind of drops your hand a bit and kind of goes back to, kind of her sort of stooped over speed walking out, and kind of her eyes light up when she walks outside and sees Atolia and Gwydion. Hello. So very glad to see you both. And it hasn't been all of that long.
Well, it's not been that long, but it's gotten quite dark. You were in there for a while.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's been quite the day, You both look awful.
This is all Dismas's blood. It's not my own this time.
Oh dear. Oh, Dismas,
He's like right behind you, and he says, Hey, Ray, how's it going? It's
5
nothing.
syllables. Only 5-syllable sentences.
It is just a scratch.
Oh my, that just looks. Jinzo, are you okay if we move ourselves away from this place?
Job here seems to be done. We can depart. Dismas, I don't believe we met. I'm Jinzo.
Oh, I see how it is. Oh, you don't want you take on another fella. Oh, trying to replace me. Is that what you're trying to do here?
No, this one just made fun of me whenever some stone dogs were chewing on my leg.
Good. Oh, nice to meet you.
All right,
Man.
I'll accept the 4. Here, Rowena, while we were waiting, I did make another herbal cure for you.
Oh, that I am sure that we will need that. That was very, very enlightening. Did you all find out more information? You were going to gather information, yes?
People are trying to kill us.
That is information.
Also, I was followed the other night, and I think they'll probably try to follow me again tonight. So we'll see if that turns into an assassination as well.
I'm sorry. Did someone try to assassinate you all today?
No, well, yes.
I mean, we knew it when we walked in. I mean,
it was quite an obvious trap, honestly. Yeah.
Oh, there was a trap. Oh, and you went in the trap.
Oh, yeah.
You
Of course.
You went
I mean, what else are you
in-
going to do?
to the trap. There's no a counter trap to the trap being set to you.
Now, traps for cowards. So when somebody sets a trap, you walk into the trap, and then you
To be
catch them by
fair,
surprise.
I stayed outside until there was a lot of screaming, and then I ran in and saw Dismas bleeding out on the floor. So that might change my plans next time.
She saved my life.
Yeah, she's the best. I'm a piece of shit who should not have sent you to go deal with all this in the first place.
His piece shit.
Of shit. Yeah.
I feel like I missed out on some things, and some things happened in there too as well. We have a new job to do. Did Madjac not get out of bed this morning?
I haven't seen him all day, honestly. I suppose we'll have to send a message to him and see if he can't meet up with us. He must be distracted making money some other way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm sure. Yes, we have. And Marina's sort of looking at Dismas because the instruction that she was given from Decima is to like only tell people that are going to keep this a secret. And
so Dismas is going to be hanging out with us from now on so that Gwydion can make up with it, even if it is far more dangerous for him.
Safety in numbers.
Also, his throat still needs to recover, so he can only do 5 syllables per sentence as doctor's orders.
Oh, yes. You should follow her orders. Her orders are smart. She gives good orders. You should follow them.
She saved my life.
Which is why we're taking the extra precautions, and you got to watch your syllables. Good job.
That's wonderful news. And she sort of looks to Jinzo. So we have a
You can speak in more than 5 syllables. It's only Dismas that needs to.
I was counting too.
You see, he's kind of an asshole, but it's funny. I like that.
Yes. And she realizes that she was the only one that is sort of the haver of all of the information. And so then she'll just sort of like anxious energy, just word vomit everything that happened inside and how Jinzo was taken away and how she struck a deal and she got to meet Decima the Old and Father Elfino and she sort of looks over to Decimus, and none of this will be told to anyone. Not even in 5 syllables. Zero syllables. Zero syllables can be said about this to anyone other than us.
Is just going to hang out with us from now on, so that'll be fine. But it is interesting. You said that they were interested in Father Salvora, and when I went to see if I can't remember his name quite so well, and my spelling was a little bit Savola.
I think she's drunk.
Well, I could. It's been a couple hours.
Or
Could have gotten a bit of a
high.
bottle. Yeah, all right. Well, that's far more likely, as I do have quite a few mushrooms. But he was. He hasn't come back to Blackmore. Yeah, I checked on him because I wanted to see if the goblin was still all right.
Oh dear. Well,
So
that is
not
exactly
here.
our job. We need to find him or find who might be after him and share that information with the necessary authorities.
I think totally you would know so he's got the soup kitchen in Blackmore, but when he's not there, and sometimes he'll pay a visit or it's run by his disciples, but then when he's not there, you know that he lives and he actually runs another place in Thistlehold. So you probably more than anyone might know where that is. The Mission House. It's to the south. It's not too far away, actually, from the Tower of Ordo Magica as well. A little bit east of it.
Well, I mean, it's a bit late today, but in the morning we ought to go to his missionary over there. It's just a bit south from here.
That sounds like a fantastic idea.
So the church witch wants us to find the goblin lover.
Yeah, I'm not sure I like the whole
I mean, she's like the wise woman or whatever of
Aspect.
their group, so it's kind of like the church witch, right?
Oh yeah, but she
Oh.
doesn't really much like witches.
I'm sure
I
she
think.
doesn't like it. That's why I'm saying it that way,
Yeah, fair enough. I appreciate that.
Your humor. Oh, your humor.
right?
I do have a question for Melissa proper, though, for this. Would you have mentioned the little bit of gossip that was spilled about Master Euphrinda?
No.
Oh, are you sure? I really want to know that, though. All right.
I think she would say, kind of as she was, kind of specifically talking to Dismas about how none of this information can leave those of us in this group, and she will sort of say, and I even we are not even to say anything to Master Euphrinda about this, because even she might have loose lips, as it has been alleged that she may have, and
Alleged that she may have what?
said things to people that she shouldn't have shares in. And Marina's very like, she couldn't possibly speak ill of like Master Euphrinda.
Oh, like she had a stroke and her lip was funny or something.
It seems to be that way.
It's just a turn of phrase. Yes, I am doing a task, and I'm not telling Master Euphrinda about it. We are keeping
Gotcha.
this just among us. Just
Keeping
among
secrets
us. And she looks at Dismas.
and making fun of how her face looks. Understood.
I will say, I don't think, Jinzo, you ought to go back to the church anytime soon. It might be best if you pray in other locations.
I've already promised I'll return after this task.
Oh.
That was the only way to obtain
Apparently,
his
Prios sees the
escape.
blight in me, so I must be treated.
But you are not, though, right?
Not so myself, but I cannot defy the.
Well, there's a
The
balance in
Earth's fathers.
nature that you're not necessarily breaking at this moment. And I think Prios would understand that.
I'm not sure balance is under much appreciation these days, actually. And she's like thinking about all of the things that Decima was saying as they were walking down the stairs. It's like,
Fair enough.
but yes, I told you that was a very, very wise. Until such time as Jinzo needs to report back, we probably should not subject you to that again, Jinzo.
You didn't specify exactly when you would come back, just that you'd come back.
Once the task was completed.
Yeah.
We'll just never
I'm
complete the
sure
task.
Prios can find you anywhere. You can pray to him wherever. I'm sure he sees you when you're sleeping and he sees you when you're awake. All that good nonsense.
Of course, the church is busy during these times, anyways.
Yeah.
So what time of day is it?
Yeah, it's
Very
like
evening.
dusk. It's like dusk. Yeah, it's like getting near nighttime. It's like a dying bit of light left. But what I'll say is, as you guys leave, we'll say you're leaving the Park of Elders, having this conversation. We'll close our episode down there. Pick up next week. We'll see what Madjac's been doing. See if we can get the band back together, and we'll go from there. All right.
All right.
All right. There we go.
Wow.
Yay.
Okay, we're back.
All right. My
And a
My
lot of
throat.
scary things happen.
My throat feels a lot like Dismas's throat right now between Decima and Ori. Oh my god. I feel better. Okay. All right. So let's see. We'll do 1 XP, I guess. Just do 1 XP for everybody. Then I'll actually give Rowena and Jinzo take a second because you all did deal with some more stuff inside. So we'll go from there. All right. Let's go ahead and do some close plugs. We'll get on out of here. Normally Aaron would be popping in right now and saying some stuff. So I'll say it instead. Go check him out as he plays and runs in some games over on Garblike Games. And not only that, he's going to be running a game for us tomorrow night right here on this channel. as we are getting back to our Warhammer 40k Wrath and Glory campaign. I am dying in that game, and we'll see if I really do die. It's fun as we're about to descend into a factory filled with just things that are going to just fucking kill us. Like, that's basically what that session's going to be. Saturday, I'll be back in the chair. We're running some Call of Cthulhu. You can see Long and Melissa in that game. And then on Monday, we're going to be doing some Fragged Empire. Melissa, Jeremy, myself. Tuesday, you can see everybody but Jeremy and I was about to say Jinzo, but Long playing some Frontier Scum on Tuesday when Steven hops in the channel. Other than that, come check out the Discord. You can see all of us here and chat with all of us. And not only that, but you can learn a little bit about Huckleberry, which is a game that our buddy Steven is making. You can hop into some playtests and stuff like that. It's a weird, acidic, crazy Western game, and that it's really fun. So you come check it out. Come hang out with us. It's weird doing it all by yourself. Usually I get beats in between, and I don't have them this time, so it's weird. I feel like I missed something. Otherwise, we're going to go raid our buddies over at Insomnia Net RPG. Follow the raid. Have a great rest of your night. Thanks for hanging out. For those of you who are watching this later on YouTube or VOD or whatever, thanks for doing that as well. We'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.